As the sun began to set on David's long and eventful reign, the king of Israel gathered his thoughts. He was old, his strength fading, and he knew his time on earth was drawing to a close. Yet his spirit remained strong, his faith in God unwavering. In the 23rd chapter of 2 Samuel, we find recorded the final words of this great king, words heavy with meaning and prophecy. These weren't merely the ramblings of an old man, they were a final message to his people, a distillation of the wisdom he had accumulated through a lifetime of leading God's chosen nation. Within these words, David reflected on his life, his relationship with God, and the future of his kingdom. But more importantly, David's final words served as a bridge between the past and the future. They pointed toward a hope that extended far beyond his own reign, a hope rooted in the promises of God and the coming of a future king. This king would be, unlike any other, destined to fulfill God's covenant and establish an eternal kingdom. David's life, from shepherd to king, was a testament to God's power and purpose. He was chosen not for his lineage or military might, but for his humble heart and unwavering faith. David understood that true leadership wasn't about wielding power, but about serving God and his people. He learned this lesson early on, tending his father's sheep with courage and dedication. This experience instilled in him a deep sense of responsibility for those entrusted to his care, a quality he carried throughout his reign as king. David's leadership was characterized by justice, righteousness, and a constant awareness of God's presence. He understood that his authority came from God, and he ruled accordingly. This understanding of divinely ordained leadership would form the bedrock of his final words, a powerful message for future generations. Woven throughout David's final words is the enduring thread of God's covenant. This covenant, first established with Abraham, was reaffirmed with David, promising him an enduring dynasty. This promise transcended the temporal realm, reaching into eternity. David understood that his own reign was but a shadow of a greater kingdom to come. His descendants would continue to rule not just over Israel, but over a kingdom that would encompass all nations. This hope was anchored in the coming of a future descendant, a messianic figure who would fulfill God's promises in their entirety. This messianic promise, first whispered in the Garden of Eden, found its echo in David's final words. It was a promise of redemption, of a world set right, of a kingdom where righteousness and justice would prevail. It was this promise that sustained David in his final days, a promise that would continue to resonate throughout history. David's final words weren't solely focused on the future, they also served as a stark reminder of the present, of the choices that lay before each individual. He drew a clear distinction between the righteous and the wicked, highlighting the consequences of each path. For David, righteousness wasn't merely a set of rules but a way of life. It was about aligning oneself with God's will, living in obedience and pursuing justice. This path, though challenging, led to life, to blessing, to a deep and abiding joy. The path of wickedness, on the other hand, was a treacherous descent into darkness. It was a rejection of God's authority, a pursuit of selfish desires at the expense of others. This path inevitably led to destruction, to the unraveling of individuals and societies. David's words served as a warning, a call to choose wisely and embrace the path of righteousness. No account of David's life would be complete without mentioning his mighty men. These warriors, renowned for their bravery and loyalty, stood by David through thick and thin. Their stories, recounted in vivid detail, serve as powerful examples of courage, dedication, and unwavering devotion. These men weren't motivated by personal gain or ambition. They fought for a cause greater than themselves, driven by their loyalty to David and their faith in God. Their exploits, often bordering on the superhuman, became legendary, inspiring generations to come. Among these mighty men were those who risked their lives to bring David water from the well of Bethlehem, fulfilling a longing in their leader's heart. Others single-handedly held off entire armies, their courage a testament to the strength found in unwavering faith. These acts of loyalty and selflessness reflected the deep bond that existed between David and his men, a bond forged in the crucible of adversity. Are you ready to continue? Just click here and come along with me to the next chapter.